Do you know how the guy got stuck in the Nutty Putty Cave and never came back alive? This story will send shivers down your spine. On June 24, 2009, the Jones family went caving at Nutty Putty during the Thanksgiving break. But little did they know, one of their family members would not come back from that fatal cave. John Jones was ready for some family fun when they decided to explore the Nutty Putty Cave in the Utah desert near Salt Lake City. He considered himself to be an experienced caver, though his exploring had slowed down in recent years. He had gotten married, had a child, and was currently a medical student at the University of Virginia. They planned a day of hiking and exploring at Nutty Putty, which is considered a beginner's cave. The cave's main areas exuded a malevolent charm. One such area was the maze room, a labyrinth of openings and tunnels that twisted around massive boulders, leading unsuspecting souls deeper into the darkness. Another treacherous spot was the slide, a large ramped area where the entire room sloped down at a spine-chilling 45-degree angle. The birth canal and the aorta crawl, named for their suffocating nature, tested the courage of even the most seasoned cavers, trapping unfortunate souls in their constricting grip. Nutty Putty, a place of nightmares, had reopened to the public after years of closure due to countless cavers getting stuck, prompting the implementation of a strict permit system to prevent further tragedies. John, fueled by an unquenchable curiosity, led a group into the depths of the cave, where the shadows whispered of unspeakable horrors awaiting to ensnare the unwary. John embarked on a dangerous journey with his 11 comrades through a deep abyss. Meanwhile, John's pregnant wife Emily stayed with their young daughter Lizzie, seeking comfort with her in-laws. Unaware of John and Josh's plans, accompanied by 2 brave companions, they ventured further into the unknown. Their goal was to find the dreaded birth canal, a passage known for its tight spaces and challenging squeeze. If they could overcome this terrifying obstacle, they would find a small sanctuary where they could finally breathe freely. John and Josh faced a terrifying ordeal in the dark birth canal, determined to uncover the hidden tunnel. They chose the left path, encountering tight squeezes and twisting tunnels. This perilous stretch, known as the corkscrew, required extraordinary flexibility to navigate successfully. After the corkscrew area, the passage angled for another 5 feet or so, then turned down over a rock ledge with a sharp 90-degree bend to the left. Up until now, cavers had used this small area around the corkscrew to turn back on themselves if needed and head back through the difficult section. 5 years prior, 16-year-old Brock Clark was trapped in a twisted section of the tunnel for 14 hours before being rescued. Now, on the other hand, John, being 6 feet taller and weighing 200 pounds heavier than Brock, found himself in the same spot. Little did John know, he is about to accomplish something no one else had ever done before, crossing over this perilous ledge. With a mere 12-inch height clearance and limited lateral space, he knows he must find another way. John pushes forward towards the ledge, squeezing himself over the top. It's a tight squeeze, but he can see the tunnel opening below. Sucking in his stomach, he presses himself through the narrow passage, using the rocks in front of him to pull himself forward. Now, he will be moving headfirst at a downward angle, but there seems to be a potential turning point ahead. In an excruciatingly tight and uncomfortable position, John remained calm, convinced that there would be an opportunity ahead. He believed he was trapped in the birth canal, a place where many cavers had felt stuck before but ultimately emerged unscathed on the other side. As he passed through a narrow zone, he began sliding toward the bottom of the tunnel, struggling to hold his body up and find a way to push forward. Now, upside down, gravity relentlessly pulled his 200-pound body against his weakened arms. John shouted to his brother Josh, urging him not to follow and to retreat instead. After discussing their options, they agreed that moving forward and attempting to turn around was the best course of action. John, now collapsing onto his shoulders and head, desperately needed to escape this vertical position. John made a slight turn and headed towards the hole. It is unknown exactly how John found himself in this terrifying position. Some speculate that he may have slipped and hit his head, becoming wedged in the tight space. Others believe that he misjudged the hole, thinking it was an opening instead of a dead end. Regardless of how he got there, John was now stuck in a small opening at the bottom of the tunnel in an impossibly narrow space. He was wedged upside down at a 70-degree angle with his arms pinned in a useless position and his legs trapped on the smallest side of the hole. John's efforts to free himself were in vain, and he called out for his brother Josh, who bravely made his way back to help. However, even their combined strength was not enough to free John, and they realized they needed professional help. Josh left to get assistance while John tried to remain calm and relaxed. Despite the presence of family friends, John remained trapped for several hours, his mind focused on the terrifying situation he was in. The fissure makes it hard for John to breathe. He was struggling to take shallow breaths as his attempts to ascend only pushed him further into the crack. Gravity relentlessly dragged him against the jagged walls of the tunnel, constricting its hold on his weary body. When help finally came, cave rescuer Susie Mata navigated towards John, who had been hanging upside down for 3 hours in the eerie darkness of the early morning. Susie, at a mere 5'3", navigated the corkscrew area with ease, her ankles securely tied with ropes as a safety measure. She reassured John that help was on the way, instilling a glimmer of hope in him as she secured webbing straps around his legs to pull him out. The ropes were causing too much friction, making it impossible to release John effectively. He was trapped without the use of his arms, and despite attempting various methods and considering aggressive options, they decided to use a pulley system to lift him out. However, the location was challenging and equipment needed to be brought in from the entrance, which took a long time due to the time tone of the corkscrew. Only smaller power tools could be carried in, and only one person at a time could assist. Each pulley took a significant amount of time to install, while cavers tried to console John and keep him calm. Upside down for hours, John's body was struggling to cope with the physical strain, with fluids building up in his lungs and toxins accumulating due to the lack of proper circulation. His organs pressed against his lungs, making each breath a laborious task for muscles ill-equipped for such a strain. As the night wore on, he transitioned from a state of calm lucidity to one of restless thrashing and hallucinations. The rescuers witnessed his agony, felt their own helplessness and exhaustion in the face of the oppressive cave air. Restricted and unable to move or breathe properly, the air around him gradually lost its oxygen concentration, further exacerbating his plight. Meanwhile, a wired telecom system was brought down to his location, allowing his wife to offer words of encouragement and faith. Finally, after hours of painstaking effort, the pulleys were set in place, inch by inch, to lift him out of the hole. His legs, bound by a rope for hours, were now blue and pulseless, yet each tug elicited a cry for respite from his hypersensitive nerves. With a momentary pause to gather himself, they resumed their arduous task, slowly but surely pulling him safely. Ryan found himself trapped in a narrow tunnel with only 12 inches of space above his head, his legs near John's as they struggled to extract him from the tight fissure. Despite some progress in lifting him out, they were still far from freeing him completely. His legs hit the low ceiling above, making it impossible to twist him into the passage. With being stuck upside down for 19 hours, Ryan lost control over his legs, and the idea of breaking them to release him became a consideration as time was running out. Suddenly, a blinding pain caused Ryan to black out, only to wake up bleeding profusely and disoriented, with injuries to his face, lips, and tongue. With John's condition deteriorating rapidly, Ryan was taken to the hospital, leaving his father Dave to take over the rescue operation. Despite Dave's efforts to reestablish the pulley lines and secure John with a rope, he found himself stuck for 15 minutes, realizing that John's 200-pound frame could not be lifted without his cooperation. The desperate attempt to save John put both Ryan and Dave in danger, leading to a devastating reality that without John's assistance, the rescue mission seemed impossible. As exhaustion set in, Ryan had to step back, allowing Brandon to take over and set up a communication system for John's family to reach out to him in his dire situation. His beloved wife professed her love and urged him to take a break and relax after exerting himself so much. Despite her unwavering faith, Brandon could see the grim reality that she was blind to. John's lifeless body lay unresponsive, devoid of any signs of life for hours on end. Ryan's report of John's labored, gurgling breaths only added to the eerie silence that now enveloped the cave. The rescue team huddled in the pit area, their voices hushed as they deliberated on the dire situation in hand. It was agreed that the medical professional team needed to confirm the inevitable. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to see more like this one. Now here's the devastating end. At precisely 11:56 p.m. on Wednesday, November 25th, John Jones was officially declared deceased by the paramedics sent into the cave. Despite the valiant efforts of the rescue team who toiled tirelessly for a full day, freeing John from his inverted position proved to be an insurmountable task. Astonishingly, John managed to survive an astonishing 27 hours in such a precarious upside-down state. The 6 courageous rescue team members who braved the dangers to reach John were hailed as heroes for their selfless and unwavering dedication. After realizing that recovering John's body was futile, the decision was made to leave him to rest eternally in the depths of the Nutty Putty Cave. A plaque commemorating John's memory was placed, and the entire cave system was sealed off with concrete, ensuring it would never be explored again. However, no matter how hard they tried to seal it off, they could never shut in the horrors of the Nutty Putty Cave incident, the deadliest cave in the world. But there's something even deadlier than this cave exploration disaster, and you must watch it if you dare.